Hello, hello, hello. Um, okay, Carissa, whenever you're ready.
All right.
Do you guys know what
So
we're talking about today, by the way? Sorry. Does
you're
anybody,
good.
do they know?
Do they know what the topic is? I hope so because I texted it out.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
Let's see who actually reads the text. But yeah, so we're going to talk about self-love today. If you remember from Breckenridge, I've been pushing this topic with Sharissa since the beginning, and I am so excited for her to talk about this. So Sharissa, tell us a little bit about your journey with self-love and how it's made an impact on your life.
So, one thing I'll say is that I've, like a couple years ago, decided that, my purpose in life is really to be the light of love and joy for myself and for others. And I feel like I exude that. And I think that that's why I attract certain people, situations, circumstances into my life. And it wasn't always like that. I wasn't always super confident. I wasn't always super loving towards myself. I used to be really hard on myself. In fact, when I was 21, I had a bunch of life stuff just piling on. And I did not know how to handle it. And it was to the point, you guys, where I could hardly look in the mirror. I couldn't accept myself. I felt like I couldn't accept myself. I felt worthless. I felt like I didn't really matter. I felt like nobody would love me. I was the complete opposite of what I am today. And there are certain things that I've done that I've tracked and I've noted, and certain things that I've coached other people on to do, these step-by-step things that they can actually grow in their love for themselves. And really, here's the thing, you guys, I've had women and men come up to me asking me advice on this, because life throws you curveballs and it's easy to lose yourself. It can be easy to lose yourself if you don't have the tools, right? If you don't have the tools. So the impact that it made in my life, I remember there was this moment, I was so depressed, and there was this moment I was sitting on the couch, I'll never forget, and my sister and my brother were playing on the floor, and they mean the world to me, and I so bad wanted to go and play with them, but I just couldn't even fake the joy to play with them. I felt caged. I was literally, I remember feeling frozen and stuck, I couldn't get off the couch. And I'm I do not want to live this way. This is not how I want to live. And here's the thing, is that this time in my life that was the worst thing that has ever happened to me became the best thing that ever happened to me. Because in that moment, I asked myself, okay, let me imagine, I was single at the time. One of the things was my boyfriend at the time, we were together for 2.5 years, and he cheated on me, and it was very toxic, would tell me that I wasn't pretty, very weird. And then afterwards it got weird. It was weird. But I left that relationship, not feeling really great about myself. Anyways, on top of all the life stuff. And I asked myself, okay, if this is where I'm at, how can I embrace this? What does that look like? And I asked myself, if I had the perfect relationship, the dream relationship of my dreams, what does that look like? What kind of partner would I want? What kind of things would he say to me? Where would he take me? Where, what would he think of me? Where, how would he believe in me? What kind of things would we do for fun? How would he surprise me? And my answers and my checklist to myself were okay, he would buy me flowers, right? We would go on hikes together. We would go on dinners together. We would go traveling. We would do all these things. And I said to myself, I can be that person for myself. I can be that most intimate relationship. I can be my favorite relationship with myself. And it changed the game for me. I actually started to do those things. And at the time, I had just lost my job. I was working at this job. And so one of the things was hiking. So I started to go hiking, and I reconnected with this group that I was friends with in high school. Okay, let me just tell you this. The guys there was this group of guys I was hiking with. one of them sold Cutco, and he was like, Sharissa, like, you have to go to this interview. And I'm like, no, I'm not like gonna sell knives. I was working 3 jobs. I was like going to school. I was super busy. I'm like, I don't got time for that. So anyways, I went to the interview, and, you know, selling Cutco for 6 years, which introduced me to Leaf, which introduced me to Fan Bennett's, which introduced me to all these other things, and like all this beautiful unfolding in my life, because I chose to really go out of my way for my own happiness. And it opened up this whole other world for me. So to me, like, self-love isn't really about taking baths and getting massages, and like, it's not about that, really. Like, that's a part of self-care, and that's important. It has its place. It's a component. But you got to do the inner work. You got to ask the questions. And you got to go out of your way for your own happiness, and not depend on outside circumstances, not depend on other people, not depend on anything else outside of you, right, to provide that joy and that love that we all really do have. Like, it's not that I lacked it. I mean, it is that I lacked it. It was always there. But I was pushing for it to blossom. And my hope is that, you know, in this next hour or whatever that we have, that you can take action on letting yourself blossom and accepting who you are. Because I wish I would have known this, like, when I was your guys' age, like all this stuff I'm going to share with you. So that's how it changed my life. And I've had now, like, I have rituals around loving myself, and it's a beautiful way to live. Think about this. Drink some water because I'm like thirsty. We are all human beings. Yes, yes. We're all like in a human being family, okay? My cat, Kitty, right there, she's sleeping. She's really good at that. She's really good at sleeping up there. She's a part of the cat family, right? She's like a part of this web of cat family, right? She knows she's a cat. She sees a cat. She knows it's a cat. We're a part of the human race, right? We're one. We are connected, like, in some way. Like, we all come from the same thing, right? Like, the plants, the moon, the stars, we're all come from the same source of, like, infinite love, right? And we're all connected. As humans, we're all connected in this web, right? Like, imagine, like, this is like the web. We're all connected in this web. And if I cut my finger off, if I cut off something of myself from this web, it affects the web, right? I bring that to the web. If I love myself, I bring that to the web. And you bring that to every single person that you meet. When I started really diving into this, you guys, like, oh my gosh, I bring this to my work. I bring this to my clients. I bring this to the grocery store. Like, I bring this into every area of my life, because now it's just a part of who I am. And, you know, I do have moments where I forget. Like, this is a lifelong journey, but I've come such a long way. And so I'm really excited to share with you, like, the tools and stuff that you can use to really embrace yourself. It's really what it's about. It's about embracing yourself and embracing your life. Because when you start to love yourself, you start to love your life even more. And that's what it's really about. Like, you get one life. You get one life. One. That's it. And, you know, I want to live till I'm like 120, but reality is I can get hit by a bus tomorrow. Like, I don't know. And I want to make sure that I'm being loving towards myself, because the most important relationship that you will ever have in your entire life is the relationship you have with yourself. Because you bring that to every single other relationship. You bring that to the relationship with your parents, with your friends, with your work, with your school, anything. I feel like there was something else I wanted to add to that. I think we're good. You know what I want to do is I want to share my screen with you. How can we do that? Anybody have any ideas?
I think if you hit the share content button, that should share your screen.
Did that resonate with anybody?
Totally. I loved it. I wrote down be the source of love in the world. And that's something that I think this world needs a lot of right now, but that it starts in each of us before it can actually spread out.
Mm. Does anybody else have any thoughts on what I just shared?
I like how at the beginning you said how you took something that was like one of the worst moments, like worst portions of your life, and turned it into some like the best thing that happened to you. I don't know why, but that like resonates with me a lot because whenever I'm in like a tough situation, I try to think of like how do I make this into a positive thing. So I like how you said how you turned that like completely around.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just thought it was really cool how like something that I resonated with was whatever you are, you bring that to every single relationship. And I thought that was really cool because how you treat yourself and how you take care of yourself, that's what you're going to do to other people. And once you do that, it's like a chain. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate all of those thoughts. It's, okay. Oh man, you guys, I could talk about this for hours and days, but we're not going to do that tonight. Okay. Exponential self-love. I hope you have a pen and a paper. If you don't, that's okay. I'm gonna give you a minute and just ask yourself, what does love mean to you? And then I want you to just write like a phrase down or something that comes to mind for you, what the definition of love is. And then I want to hear just like 2 or 3 people. Maybe if you don't usually, talk on these, maybe take this opportunity to do that. I'm really just going to ask you guys a couple questions, and I'd love to have some dialogue at the end. And I plan on staying on time for sure. I also know that, there's a lot of things you might learn today that you might have questions about, and I'm more than happy to stay as long as you need me to talk about this. So what does love mean to you?
The first words that came to my mind were the phrase genuine acceptance and just kind of being authentic, being open, and being able to be real with another person.
Awesome. One more person want to share?
Mine was just the ability to be authentic, but also connecting with people. Like for me, just connection with other people, it really like makes me feel alive. And that's when I feel the most loved, and that's when I can give the most love back.
Beautiful. Okay. There's 2 more questions. What does unconditional love mean to you? And actually, what I'll have you do is I'll just have you write something down. We actually won't share on this one. I want you to write down what it means to you, though. And then in about a minute, I'm going to speak on this just for a little bit. Unconditional love. Okay, so this idea of unconditional love, when I think about unconditional love, so this is how I've cultivated, well, it's always a journey, right? But I've cultivated this relationship with myself as defining that as unconditional love. I think when I think about unconditional love, I think about like my mom, right? Like, even if I do something quote unquote wrong, right? Like she's always going to love me, like no matter what. Like she's not going to judge me. She's not going to, you know, make me feel bad. Like she's always going to love me no matter what. And I think a lot of times throughout life, it can be really easy to feel guilty about things. It can feel really easy to blame yourself and forget about unconditional love. But if we have unconditional love towards ourselves, like regardless of our conditions, regardless of how many mistakes that we make, but we can continue to love ourselves and yes, learn from those mistakes and like be the change and make the change, do something about it, but don't sit on it. Love yourself, like move on, unconditional love. I remember one time I called my mom and she's like, how's your morning going? And I was like, man, like I woke up late, my alarm didn't go off, you know, I was really frustrated about it. She's like, well, honey, maybe you needed that sleep. Like maybe your body needed that sleep. And I was like, oh, maybe it did. Okay, I'm gonna make sure my alarm's on tomorrow, but you're right, like it's all good. Like let it go, keep going, unconditional love. And I want you to I want to ask you, what does self-love mean to you? And I'd like to get just a few people, just for the sake of time, to share.
I mean, yes, I can go. For unconditional love, I said loyal, never ending, and just an abundance of it. Like it will never end. And I think that's something that's really important. And then for self-love, I wrote like putting yourself first, and like when you're on a plane, and they said like in case of emergency, like put your mask on before assisting others. And I think that is so important because I think so many of the time, like a lot of us here are just givers and we just want to give, and give everything we can to other people. And then we forget about ourselves and forget like, hey, I'm a human being too, and I'm going to make mistakes. And like we tend to judge other people's outsides by our insides. And that's why it's so important to like just take care of yourself.
Beautiful answer. Thank you for sharing that.
I'll share as well for self-love. I said self-love is respect and acceptance for for your true and authentic self. Because I feel like when you love someone else, it's like you're loving who they are as a person, like in a relationship or like with your friends or family, like you're loving who they are, and self-love is just like truly like wholeheartedly like loving who you are as a person.
Yes. Nailed it. Now, my next question is, thank you for sharing that. My next question is, and Emily and I talked a little bit about this. Emily, if you want to share again, that's so great. If not, that's cool too. Why is it important to have this conversation about self-love? Why does it matter to talk about this? You don't have to write it. You can just say it out loud. Why is it important?
I think it's important because I think we just live in a world where everything we see on social media and just in real life, it's everybody's highlight reel. And I think it's important to just make sure that we're in touch with ourselves and that we accept ourselves for who we are, because we're not always going to be the best at everything. We're just going to need to learn to be in touch with the side of ourselves that just makes us feel good. And I think we live in a world where we're taught to like shut that out and like, no, like you're not good unless you have all the money, or you're famous, or you're successful, or you're rich, or whatever it is. So I think just to have the acceptance for yourself, no matter where you are, is really vital.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. So next, you guys, I'm going to share with you the 4 blocks to self-love, okay? The 4 blocks that block you from self-love so that you have awareness to it. And we're going to spend more time on the 6 essentials to embracing yourself, okay? The 6 essentials to embracing yourself. And then I have a secret weapon at the end. And I also have a little surprise at the end, a little cool little thing I can feel like. Okay. 4 blocks to embracing self-love. Now, here's the thing, you guys, this is 4 and 6, that's 10. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to go deep on all of these. I'm going to go deep on maybe just a few of them, but I want to mention all of them because it's important to know what they are. If you don't know what the blocks are, you're going to continue to let them block you. If you don't know what the blocks are, you're going to continue to let them block you. If you don't know what the essentials are, you're never going to do them. Or maybe you are already doing them, and you can go deeper in that. So it's important to have that awareness. 4 blocks of self-love. And here's where this comes from, you guys, just so you know. This comes from data, okay? This comes from not just like in my mind, not just my experience, but people that I've coached and people that I've talked to, like, and coached unofficially around this topic. So this is like, it's legit. So, okay, 4 blocks of self-love. Negative self-talk, number 1. The conversation going on in your head, what you say to yourself. Okay, here's the reason why the most important relationship you will ever have, you're going to hear me say this probably 1,000 times, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one that you have with yourself, okay? And because think about it, like, even if you live with your family, you have a partner, maybe like down the line, you're married, whatever, the person that you're spending the most time with, the voice that you hear the most, the person you're with 24/7, 365 days a year, your entire life is you. You have to deal with your head and your mind, and you have to guide your thoughts into where you want them to go. So negative self-talk, right? Oh my gosh, this was big for me because I grew up with, like, my mom was lifting me up and my dad was putting me down. And it was like verbal abuse. And so when I left the house, I still had these like voices going on in my head, like, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, da, 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 right? So it's important to know what that is and recognize that. And that negative self-talk, that's not the voice of love, okay? That's not the voice of love, it's the opposite. So recognize that. And recognize that and tell yourself the truth of the opposite of that. Okay, self-judgment, holding on to guilt from the past, what you think about yourself. So, we all make mistakes, we all do things that maybe we're not proud of, right? Maybe we didn't turn our homework in on time. Maybe we didn't tell the whole truth that one time. Maybe we didn't pick up, turn in our essay on time, whatever it is, whatever makes you feel guilty, something that you're holding on to. Or it could also be something that maybe you're telling yourself you're not good at. In your whole life, you told yourself you're not good at this. It's what you think about yourself. So, tell you a quick story about this. My whole educational career, from elementary school to college, okay, I told myself I'm not a math person. I'm not a math person. I'm just not a math person. I would get decent grades in every other class, A, B, C, but D's and F's always in math. I had to go to summer school for math. I went to adult school, night school for math, and I hated it. And I just told myself, I am not a math person. And then, I went to this, really great school in LA, and then I did not apply myself because I told myself I was not good at math. And then I went to this little community college when I came back to San Diego. And I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna get an A in this math class, and I'm gonna get an A on the final. And I'm just gonna do everything that I can. And, I showed up before class, after class, asked questions. The teacher and I were like this, okay? I was always sitting in front. I was doing everything I could. And I just blocked that out of my mind. I didn't lie to myself and tell myself that I was good at math. I was just like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm not going to live with that anymore. And I got an A in the class, and I got a B in the final. Self-judgment, what you think about yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Comparing yourself to others. Wishing you were more like them, not embracing you. Ignoring equality. Seeing this person on a pedestal, right? Oh my gosh, I wish I looked like him. I wish I looked like her. Oh, I wish I was like this person. You're not recognizing that okay. Like, I would be really excited if I had met Beyonce one day, or like sang with her, or like, you know, but like, and I would be super excited about, like, that'd be super cool just because she's awesome. But like, she's still a human being. Like, she poops and pees just like me, right? Like, we're all human beings. We're all equal. And here's the thing, is when you see people outside of yourself, right? When you do that, you create separation. When you're saying, I want to be like him, I want to be like her, you're creating separation. And that's not equality. That's not like being united, right? Considering the thought, maybe like there's a piece of that in me. Like, what's possible with this person is equally possible with me. If it's somebody that you admire because you're looking up to them for like a goal or whatever. If it's somebody you just want to be like them because you want to look like them, consider like embracing who you are. Consider what it looks like to say, you know, maybe this person, the reason I'm feeling this way is to teach me something and to guide me to embracing myself. What can I embrace about myself right now? You know, I wish, you know, when I remember when I was in high school, I had a lot of acne. I think I was like towards the end of high school, college, like actually too. And my dad would call me pizza face, okay? Like, not cool. He would call me pizza face. And I was always super self-conscious about my face. And here's the thing, like, and I got a zit like a couple weeks ago, right? And my initial thought was like, oh my God, like that's it. That's so annoying. And then I was like, I am not my body. Like, I am not my body. I am not my mind. I am like this soul inside, right? This is a shell. It's a vessel. It's a vessel. It's a shell. But who you are is really inside. If you chop my arm off, I'm still going to be awesome at everything that I do in my life, right? I'm still going to be me. You're not your body. You're not your mind. Start embracing yourself and yourself, like the deep part of yourself. Last one. People pleasing. Doing things so people will like you. Being afraid to say no. So I said I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on each one of these, but yeah. So let me think about this. People pleasing, doing things so people will like you, being afraid to say no. The biggest fear, you know, that we all have is the fear of not being loved. That's like a universal fear. And we all want to be loved, right? What happens when you do things so people will like you, because you want to impress them, you want them to trust you even, maybe, right? You think, oh, if I don't say yes to this thing, they won't trust me, or, you know, something along those lines. If it's not something that you really feel called, like that's going to fill you up to do that thing, but you're doing it to make them happy, you're wasting your energy. You're actually depleting like your self-worth to yourself, because you're saying this person's more important than me right now. And we have to put ourselves first. 6 essentials to embracing yourself. Number 1, honor your body. Honor your body. Here's what I mean. You are a human being, okay? If you saw my post the other day on my Instagram story, which if you're not following my Instagram, you need to be following me. Sharissa Sosa, it's just Sharissa Sosa. Honor your body. Here's what I mean by that. We are all these incredible, and here's what I was talking about. I was saying, here's why I can say that I love you, that I love these people that maybe I haven't met. right? Here's why I can say that. Because we are all human beings. We were born like out of this womb, right? We have like trillions of cells in our body. We are literally walking miracles, okay? Our bodies are walking miracles, but we forget to acknowledge that. One time I was training for this race. I was working super hard. I was pushing my body like really hard. And I wrote my body a love letter to my body. I wrote my body a love letter. And let me tell you, like, it made a difference in the way I performed the next day. It really did. And so making sure that you're moving your body every day, right? And you're not doing it because you want to look a certain way. Let me make that clear. You're not exercising or doing yoga to look a certain way. By the way, if you want to find an exercise to help you grow in self-love, do yoga. You're not doing it to look a certain way. You're doing it to honor your body. You're going for that walk or that hike or that run or that yoga class to honor your body. What are the intentions behind why you're doing it? Honor your body. And honor what you put in your body, okay? Honor what you put into your body. That's the reason I eat the way that I do. Accepting yourself. Accepting yourself fully and completely and unconditionally. Seeing yourself through the eyes of love. Seeing yourself through the eyes of love. So, you know, we talked about blame and guilt and shame and all of those things and mistakes that we made. And sometimes we just feel down. Sometimes we just feel down. It happens, right? We have seasons. And well, I love to ask myself, and I do this, you know, if there's somebody outside that I have this emotional attachment to, where I'm like, oh my God, that person made me mad, right? Or this situation made me mad. Or I made myself mad. I'm disappointed in myself. I'll ask myself, like, how can I look at this through the eyes of love? How can I look at this? How can I look at myself through the eyes of love? Another question I like to ask is like, what would the voice of love have to say about this? The voice of love isn't gonna like point the finger at me and make me feel guilty and tell me how horrible I am for like doing or saying or doing whatever I did, right? How can I see through the eyes of love? Forgiving yourself. And here's the thing, you guys, once you start really going deep on all of these things, you start to see other people in that way. You start to accept other people more into your life. Because if you aren't loving yourself fully, if you're not fully embracing yourself, you're never really going to be ready for like the ultimate like loving experience in your life. That could be with your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, right? But you're never going to really see that, feel it as deep as it could go if you're not going deeper in these areas. Forgiving yourself, unconditional love, letting it go. One thing I like to do if I'm feeling bad about something, I learned this at Day with Destiny, Tony Robbins. Actually, let's do it right now. Please participate with me. Just put your hand on your heart and close your eyes. And you can whisper it or you can say it out loud with me. I'm going to say 3 things, and then after I say those 3 things, then I want you to repeat it with me. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. Okay, ready? I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. 2 more times. Breathe in, actually. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. 1 more time. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. And that's a tool that you can put in your back pocket and you can use that anytime. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. Loving habits. So something that I like to do is for the people that I love is I write them little love notes. I write letters. I write cards. And I do it randomly. It's not like for an occasion or anything like that. And I do that for myself too. I have these Post-its, and I remember, oh my gosh, so talking about like self-love and all this, I had this Post-it in the apartment that I had before this one when I was in San Diego, closer to downtown. It was past this hallway that I would walk by every single day. Okay, I lived there for like 2.5 years. and it said, I can do all things. Okay, I can do it. So I would see it all the time. And I still have one, right? Like where I see it all the time. I can do all things. And I remember somebody challenged me to like jump really high to go do something or to touch something really high. And they're like, yeah, good luck. I'm like, I can do all things. It just came out. I was like, I've never said that before, but I saw it every single day. That was one habit that I had, right? Visual affirmations of who I am. Loving habits. So I had a friend, a Cutco friend. He's like a Cutco baller, like just rips it up. And if you look at him, like he's like big guy. You wouldn't think that he struggles with self-love. You don't think a lot of guys, here's the thing, is a lot of times, you know, men it's possible to walk away from their feelings. And so it's harder to admit that they want to love themselves more, or that that's important, or that it matters. But I really appreciate the courage that he took to like pull me aside and want to talk about this. And through this conversation, he was telling me how frustrated and sad he was that he didn't have a date to bring to the event. He like kept repeating it, and I kept hearing this, but I was letting him talk. And we went really deep. We talked for like an hour. And so we talked about all these things that I'm sharing with you. Here's one of the habits that I have that I do almost every day, pretty much every day. So y'all know I love to sing. And I love to sing love songs, you guys. I love love songs. And a part of my self-love journey, like in the very beginning, was singing love songs to myself. Singing love songs to myself. And just think about a song that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, that is a beautiful love song. I love that song. Listen to it. Even if you're not a singer, just listen to it, close your eyes, and dedicate that song to yourself. And see how that feels. It's a game changer. And doing that consistently will change the game for you. So I had him do that. That night, right? We talked about all these things about like relationships, and he felt like he needed, right, like somebody to make him feel complete. So we talked about all of that. The one thing I said, I was like, what's your favorite love song? He told me. I'm like, okay, tonight, is what I want you to do, listen to that song, put your hand on your heart, and close your eyes or look in the mirror. Those two options, close your eyes or look in the mirror and sing it. He came to me the next day, he's like, Sharissa. He's like, he was bawling. Well, he said he was bawling, like he was just this outpour of love. I'm not promising that to everybody. It's possible. Depends how deep you're willing to go, right? But dedicate a love song to yourself. That's a really great habit to have. Another one is just quickly letting go. So when things happen, don't hold on to attachment. Let it go. Let it go. Feeling good matters. Okay, feeling good matters. If you had a partner, for your sister, your brother, your parents, you want them to feel good, right? You would go out of your way to do things to make them happy because you love them. So think about habits that you can do to go out of your way for yourself to cultivate that even more. Loving beliefs of yourself / appreciative self-talk. So that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Here's another habit I want to share with you, actually. Go back a little bit. So I'm going to share another tool with you. It's called EFT tapping, okay? And it's where you tap this into your face, and the thing is we have meridians all over our body. Meridians are energy points that we can, they have nerve endings that are directly connected to even more connected neurologically to our brain. So basically we can convince ourselves of anything when we tap to these places. One thing I like to do if I'm not feeling good, and this has nothing to do really with self-love, but it's really just in general, if you can't get out of this feeling that you have, I want you to do this, okay? So I'm gonna show you first, and then we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna show you first, and then we're gonna do it. So if I'm not feeling good, maybe like I'm having not a great sales day or something like that, I'll do this. I'll tap right here. I'll say, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. It's like right here in the back of your head, okay? And then at the top, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. And then right here, hard, okay? Even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. And then under the pit, okay, right over here, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. And then right here, even though I have this negative emotion, like right under your collarbone, I fully and completely accept myself. We're gonna do it because I want you to feel it, because it's crazy. And here's the thing, if you're not feeling good, this is in regards to anything, keep doing it until you feel good. You'll start smiling and you're like, I don't even know why I'm smiling. It's crazy, it's science, okay? Okay, ready? And I want you to say it out loud, if you're comfortable. Okay, so we're gonna start here. Even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. And then under the nose, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Above the eyebrows, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Behind the ears, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Top of the head, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Right here on the hand, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. Under the pit, even though I have this negative emotion, I fully and completely accept myself. I feel good. I just want to do that all day. Yeah. So, I feel great. Yeah. Okay. So, loving beliefs about yourself, right? Well, how do you think of yourself? This is the opposite of what we were talking about earlier, right? Like, instead of telling myself, like, I'm not good at math, I'm just not a math person, I'm going to give it my all. And I'm going to do my best and I'm going to get an A. What do you believe about yourself? What is your appreciative self-talk? How can you turn your negative self-talk, which by the way, if you guys want to, like, I'm down to do a part 2 on this some point in the future. I know you guys have a lot of awesome, amazing calls lined up, but there's certain things that I feel like are important to know. So think about, and here, actually, I'll give you an exercise if you want to do this later. We don't have time for it today. But if you were to take a moment and write down all of your negative self-talk, write down all of your limiting beliefs that come up for you often, and maybe for like a day or two, just write them down when they come up. And then keep that on the same piece of paper, scratch it off, and literally write the opposite. Or write something that makes you feel better. And you can create the habit to, as soon as that negative thought comes up, you can switch it to the other one, fast. Fast. So, 4 blocks to self-love, 6 essentials to embracing yourself. I'm gonna give you guys a moment if you wanna like look over these and ask any questions that you want. I still have some things I want to share, but I want to open this part up right now for questions. And if there's a question, if you don't want to, if you can ask me in the chat too, if you want to type it. Okay, great, no questions. So all in all, I want you to ask yourself, how am I showing up for myself? How am I going out of my way for my own happiness? How might I continue to embrace myself? Embracing you're different. Like, we are all so unique for a reason, right? Like, shine that, like, let that shine. What habits can you create to go deeper in this? How can you see yourself through the eyes of love? I'd like to know, actually, here's a moment that I would love to get some people to share. What do you see on here that's something that you feel like, you know what, I can do that. I can do that thing. I can commit to one thing, one of these things that I know is going to benefit the relationship that I have with myself, what would that be for you? And how would you do that?
I really liked, I forget, I think it was in Loving Habits you talked about it. Like with the love song, like dedicating the love song to yourself. Cause like as you were saying that, like my favorite love song is Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And like as you were saying that, I was like kind of singing it in my head. And I was like, oh, like that makes me feel really good about myself. Like this person's singing about me, like looking so pretty and perfect and everything. So I feel like that's definitely going to be something that I start doing like on my cards, because I have a lot of love songs on my playlist. So I think that's definitely something I'm probably going to commit to and like think of more often.
Awesome. Probably.
Definitely.
I like it. Cool. Yeah, another one that's good is I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many that you can do that with. Whatever resonates with you. Awesome. I love that. And that's something I do it all the time, and it feels so good. Sometimes I cry. Like sometimes like I'm just overwhelmed with this. It can go deep. I'm telling you, you have the opportunity to go deep, you know. It's always available. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Who else would like to share?
I mean, I can. Just to share one of my songs. It's called That Would Be Good. And it's a song about like, or I think it's called I Would Be Good. And it's like, would I be good? Or no, I would be good if I wasn't wearing makeup. I would be good if I gained 10 pounds. I would be good if I was by myself. And it's just, it lists all these things that like, I would be fine if this happened. And it's something that really resonates with me. And it's just great.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. And you know, I love that. That's great. One more person to share.
I'll share since we're going with songs. I love Superwoman.
Yeah.
Alicia Keys. I think that's an amazing song. So I'm definitely gonna start singing that one. Dedicated to myself.
Dedicate to yourself. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, there's a song for me that's coming to mind that there's a lot of them. If we have time towards the end, I'll sing you guys one. But okay. Ninja, are you ready for the ninja tip? Is that a yes? I can't hear you guys because you're muted. That's great. Okay, ninja tip. You guys, if you do this, okay, you're gonna feel a lot of love, like a lot. And here's the thing: is I hope all of you do. It's possible that some of you do, and some of you don't, and that's okay. If there's one thing that resonates with you, just do that thing. Do that one thing. Or consider that idea, right? Consider that new idea. If there's a new idea or something that you didn't hear, like just consider that as an action step to start believing that thing. And here's the thing, with all of these ideas, right, that I'm sharing, a belief is just a thought that you keep on thinking. A belief is just a thought that you keep on thinking. So whatever you believe about yourself right now, you can change that, because a belief is a thought that you keep on thinking. And you create beliefs through repetition. That's why affirmations are important. That's why these love songs are important, right? That's why these habits are important. You can change your beliefs about yourself, about your life, because all it is a pattern that keeps running in this machine in our head. All right. Write yourself a self-appreciation letter or love letter. Write yourself a self-appreciation letter / love letter. And I'll give you some ideas on how to start that. You can start by saying, here's what I really appreciate about myself right now. Here's one thing I love about myself. Here's what makes me different and unique, and I love that. I love the way I showed up in that one situation. right? I love the way I showed up my whole life with my family, right? Maybe there's a skill set that you have. Maybe you're really good at piano. Maybe you're really good at soccer. Maybe you're really good at studying. You know, I love that about myself. Consider things that you can start embracing and appreciating, and like write that down in a letter. And to add another layer to that, if you want to go deeper, read that letter out loud in the mirror. Read that letter out loud in the mirror. And look at yourself in the eye. It's important. That little extra thing. Okay, so I don't want to share my screen anymore. Why? And then I have my little surprise, little extra thing for you. Okay, what if I just press escape? Okay, give me 1 minute because I'm going to try to stop sharing my screen. Oh, there we go. Oh, stop share. Okay. Boom. Okay. So I wrote a poem the other day, and I really want you all to hear it. I think you'll really resonate with it. I hope you do. And I'm really proud of this letter. And that's another thing. If you're proud of yourself, it's okay to say that. If you think you're amazing, it's okay to say that. We need to start celebrating ourselves and giving ourselves the permission to own what's great about us. Because when we do that, we give other people, just because I'm saying I'm awesome doesn't mean that you're any less awesome. If I'm saying I'm amazing, we are all connected. You're a piece of that. You're a part of that. Own it. And it's not vain or cocky or arrogant to say that when it comes from love. It's all about the intention behind what you're doing and what you're saying. So, okay. So by the way, I've only shared this 3 times. So you guys are lucky this is a treat. Okay. The first time I fell in love with a woman, I felt her truth outpour to everyone she met, her love beaming through her eyes with each moment that passed mine. I watched her soft lips share the eloquent thoughts that were running through her beautiful mind. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. I saw divinity in her. I remembered how the stars aligned for us to meet. Each moment that it was just her and I walking in the street, alone on the trail, alone at the beach, all day savoring greens and treats. I saw how all the heartache and pain I held onto from my past was really preparing me to embrace her love fully once and for all. Finally, the love I was dreaming of was here, at last. I saw grace, strength, fullness, and perfection. I saw God in a woman. Each moment with her presence felt like a blessing from heaven. I'm better when I'm loving her. I'm telling you, this woman taught me the most beautiful kind of love, the love that stands unconditionally. I would move mountains, change the color of the sky, make her dreams come true with my own hands. Anytime she wanted, we would dance, mostly in the kitchen holding hands. I would do anything in my power to make sure she never cried. And if she did, it would be tears from the overflow of love that I had for her, or the love she had for mine. The kind of tears that run for love. The kind of tears that run for love. I never knew I could love like this. I was falling in love with her soul. If her soul was a sound, no doubt it was the soft melody of a harp that played for 100 years. Because of this magnetic kind of love, I'm reminded how deeply nature loves itself, how the sun loves the plants and the trees, and the moon loves the waves and the sea, how natural it is to love so strong. And then I realized that all along, it was me I was falling for. I was falling in love with my soul, the God within myself, the beauty that I had forgotten, the beauty that I had forgotten. the perfection I had ignored. It was me I was falling for. It's done. That's my poem. I'm so grateful for the time that we've had, ladies and gents. I'd like to open it up to a conversation, anything that you want to add. Or if you have questions, doesn't seem like you do, but if you do, great. And if you just want to point something out, great.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to acknowledge everyone for coming. And I mean, sure, so like that was like some really great content, and I took so much away. I was taking notes like a mad person, but a lot of that really resonated with me, and I just want to thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
I definitely agree. I think I have like 5 pages of notes here to go and start working on. Definitely would love to have a part 2 to this. And maybe on the group chat, for those of you who are here now, maybe send out some ways that you're practicing self-love and try to encourage everybody else to kind of go on this journey too. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. And I appreciate your time and you taking this hour out of your day to be here with us. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. And if there's something that you guys have my number, if not, I'll give it to you right now. If I can support you in this and, you wrote your love letter, I want to hear about it. Okay. Like, tell me about it. And I want to support you in that because it's changed my life. It's opened up doors for me. And it's really about embracing who you are and embracing your life and loving everything that happens. So yeah, Carissa has my number. It's 619-253-5548. 619-253-5548. And if you call me, and I'll totally call you back if I don't answer. If you text me, I'll totally text you back. I want to be with you in this. Yeah. I kind of want to see you.
I'll share.
That's all yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share. Sharissa and I had a self-love conversation probably 6 or 7 months ago in August, and I wrote the love letter to myself, and I still have it, and I'll pull it out from time to time when I need it. So it's something that won't just be a one and done. It definitely helps, and it's probably one of my favorite things. We kind of met by chance at this event, and it was super awesome because that was one of my favorite conversations that I got to take away. We just kind of sat for 2 hours and had this conversation about self-love. And I'm really happy that she jumped on this call to share it with everybody because I think it's a message that needs to be spread. But if you're debating between any of the exercises, the love letter to yourself is probably one that I would definitely recommend the most to try.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'd love to know, like, since you guys are still here, what are some takeaways that you had? I know you took a lot of notes. I know that a lot of it did resonate. What's something I would like to know just for myself, because I'm going to continue to have this conversation in different communities, and I'd like to know what resonated with you.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to mention, we haven't been here in the past 3 calls, my sister and I. Our mom actually recently came into town from New York, so on a business trip, so we've been with her over the weekends. So I'd like to apologize for missing those calls. And my sister has some dance recital thing with her group, or her dance group today, so yeah, she didn't make it today. Today's takeaway, I feel like in today's society, a lot of people tend to compare themselves to others, especially, and we kind of degrade ourselves or change ourselves. I know some people do it because they like how they are, they want to embrace who they are inside, but some people honestly change themselves just to be someone else or to be more like someone else. And they tend to get caught up in this huge thing of what's popular, what will people like, and what will others think of me if I do this. So they tend to really change. And when they're older, or when maybe even they never find out, but they're like, this was never me. This is never what I wanted to do. This was never something that I like, and I really regret it. And it seems like regret is a really, really strong emotion that some people end up feeling later on. And it's good now that we practice this, because it definitely, I think, will help with your career and how you feel about yourself later on. And yeah, that's kind of what I took away from this.
Awesome. So if I'm hearing you correctly, like regret, like self-compassion,
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. Anybody else? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so one big takeaway that I had besides the song thing, which I'm definitely doing, I like the 4 blocks of self-love, because I feel like it's easy for someone to be like, oh, if you want to love yourself, like do this, this, and this, then like you'll love yourself. But like I feel like no one really talks about like where the problem starts of why you don't love yourself, and like to begin with. And I like, as you're going through each one, like I'll be totally honest, like I find myself doing every single one of those things so much, and I don't know, I feel like it's definitely something I need to work on. Especially like people pleasing. Like I feel like everyone needs to like me, but I kind of need to learn, like, as long as I like me, that's what matters, kind of thing. So I think that's really important. I'm really glad you touched on it, because I feel like that's something people overlook a lot. And like on Instagram and everything, you'll see people are like, oh my gosh, self-care, like how you're saying at the beginning, like take a bubble bath and you'll love yourself. Like that doesn't work. That's not how it works. So yeah, I appreciate that you are like kind of just brutally honest with it, and like this is where it starts and this is how you can fix it.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's also like, I just want to touch on one thing you said. It is, you know, the only opinion that matters is the one that you have, right? My mom called me, like, I've had my hair short like this for like a year and a half. I actually just decided to grow it out. I'm really excited about that. But my mom called me like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, right? 3 months, and I've had my hair short for like a year and a half. She was like super nervous, and she's like, I want to tell you something, but like, she goes, I really don't like your hair. I was like, she was coming from a place of like wanting to share, like from her heart, you know, she felt bad like telling me that, but she just wanted me to know, I guess. Because she just loves my big curly hair. And I do too, right? It's just like, I can change it up. And, you know, I'm really proud of my response to her. It was like super respectful, but it was also like, thanks, but I love it kind of thing, right? And my response was like, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Like, I really appreciate that. And this is some feedback for you guys too. Like when somebody gives you feedback that you're like, that doesn't really resonate, it's not really, I'm not connecting with that, right? Like, does it really matter if my mom likes my hair or not, right? Because I'm gonna keep it. And she's still gonna love me, right? And I said, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Like, I really appreciate it. I can tell you were a little nervous about sharing that, so thank you. I really love my hair, and these are the reasons why. And like, I'm sorry that you don't like it, but I'm gonna keep it like this until I feel like growing it out. And she's like, okay, like part of her just wanted me to know that. But that's a way to kind of be like, thank you. I appreciate that you for sharing that. Thank you, but no thank you, kind of thing, right? Like, and I told her, I was like, Mom, like, and you know this, Mom, like, you taught me this, like, my opinion is the one that matters, right? And she's like, yeah, like, you're totally right, you know? And I can say that, right, because I'm 28 and I live with my parents and, like, I'm an adult, so don't go different. It's also not only, you know, the only opinion that matters is yours, but the right people will like you when you're being yourself. The right people, right? Like the story that you shared, You know, the right people will go deeper with you when you are fully and completely accepting yourself, the right people. And here's what's great is when the people that do walk away, bye, Felicia, like that space will be filled, you know, like, because you're completely, like, if you feel good about who you are and you're being authentic to who you are, then the right people will stick around. And I want to touch one more thing on that, because, you know, I know, like, for me, like, in high school and everything like that, like, I wasn't allowed to date. I wasn't allowed to, like, have a boyfriend. In fact, I actually been single, like, most of my adult life. And I've actually, like, and I think it's because, and here's what the gift in that is, and the reason I've enjoyed it so much is because I've taken this time to be that relationship with myself, you know, because I know, like, once that happens, like, it's done. Like, I'm with that person, right? And I can still love myself, obviously, like, it's still going to be there, but now I'm in this relationship and it's us, right? But right now it's us right here, you know, myself, like, with me. And so I have this time, you have this time right now, and that's your sacred time, you know, it's your sacred time to love yourself and not wait on a text message to make you feel loved, right? But cultivating that inside. So you don't need that text message to make you feel loved, but that text message is going to be like the cherry on top. You know, it's going to be the cherry on top, and you can accept it and embrace it, but you have it here and it's strong. So, little tangent.
Sharissa, before you go, would you sing for us?
Yeah, I'll sing you that song that I was thinking of. Okay. So I was actually singing it earlier today. And so it's a Whitney song, Whitney Houston. And it's kind of like it's an interesting song. It's not like your typical love song, but here's what's beautiful is you guys, you can give meaning to anything. You can give meaning to anything. And here's the meaning I've given to this song. I'm looking at the lyrics right now. Take me for what I am. I'm not going to change for you. Take me, and this is me, like, talking to myself, right? I'm not going to change for you, self. Take me for what I am. I don't need to look any further for love because it's right here. And the part that says, don't make me close one more door. For me, that's saying, like, anytime we dilute ourselves, like, by people pleasing, right? Or negative self-talk, we're diluting that, like, account of love that we have for ourselves. We're diluting it. We're either making deposits or diluting. There's no in between. There's no, like, even keel. Diluting or depositing. So I feel like we're always kind of on the path to blossoming more into that, like, myself included, for sure. And the part that says, like, don't make me close one more door, it's like, don't make me, like leave this door open. Like, leave this door open. Like, don't shut me out. Like, don't shut out this love, right? And without you, I have nothing. Like, and I would never say that to anybody else except for myself, probably my mom and, like, the kids. But it's like, without you, I have nothing. Without this, and that's really how I feel. Like, if I didn't have this, like, deep embrace, like, with myself, I feel like I would be empty. And that's why it's so important to me to make those deposits. Okay. Let me sing it. Oh, also, when you sing your love song or when you listen to it, you put your hand on your heart. Go extra little layer. Share my life, take me for what I am, 'cause I'll never change all my colors for you. Take my love, I never asked for too much, just all that you are and everything that you do. I don't really need to look very much further. I don't want to have to go where you don't follow. I won't hold it back again, this passion inside. I can't run from myself, there's nowhere to hide. Don't make me close one more door. I don't want to hurt anymore. Stay in my arms if you dare, or must I imagine you there? Don't walk away from me, 'cause I'll have nothing, nothing, nothing if I don't have you. You see through, right through the heart of me. You break down my walls with the strength of your love. I never knew love like I've known it with you. Will the memory survive all I can hold on to? I don't really need to look very much further. I don't want to have to go where you don't follow. I won't hold it back again, this passion inside. I can't run from myself, there's nowhere to hide. Your love I remember forever. So don't make me close one more door. I don't want to hurt anymore. Stay in my arms if you dare, or must I imagine you there? Don't walk away from me, 'cause I'll have nothing, nothing, nothing if I don't have you.
That was beautiful. That was so good.
Thanks. Did that, like, now that you saw me singing that to myself, did that kind of like make anything, did that like touch, or what was that like? I'm curious, like what that was like. Now that you know, like I'm not just singing this love song because I'm like singing this love song, but like you watch me sing it to myself. So does it give you a clearer picture of what that experience could be like, and on a consistent basis, right? It's just about going out of your way for your own happiness. That's all, and embracing it. All right, I can go on and on, so I'm not, because I know it's late for you guys. But I love you all, and I'm here for you. And you have my number, and I would love to know, you know, what you're committed to and what the impact is on that. So.
Yeah, and just one more thing before we hang up. We have another call Saturday, April 13th, 8 p.m. Eastern, same time. So if you just want to mark that, I'll send out a text reminder as we get closer. But Brother James didn't schedule enough time to be in here, so he's sorry, but we'll re-meet up again. And does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Can you repeat that date one more and the time?
April 13th. It's a Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
I won't be able to make that call, but.
Yeah, I don't think I'll actually be on either, but not 100% sure what the agenda for that one is yet.
And then this recording is going to go out to all the next generation leaders, right?
Yeah, so this recording will be posted on YouTube, and everybody will get the link once it's up.
Am I on the email thing? Because I don't know. I don't think I got the ID or the code for this call. I got it from someone.
Yeah, okay, so the form of communication I think would be by texting. So I think because of the Android, you're not.
Okay, my sister is like not very communicative. She's not very good.
Okay, so I'll make sure that I reach out to you separately and make sure that you have the link. And then if you're on Facebook, the Fair Abundance Facebook page, if you need an invite to that, that's another source of communication. We don't do emails yet. That's probably be something that will be down the line in the future. But
Okay,
definitely,
can you take my number then?
I have your number.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and text you right after this.
Got it.
Ashley, if email is easier for you, like with the link, because I know for some reason when I was sending the link, it wasn't really working the way it was supposed to. If you want to text me your email, I can try emailing it to you on the next one and see if that works any better too.
Okay. Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Anything else? I feel complete.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your time. I know it's late on a Saturday night and you probably have other things to be doing, but I appreciate everybody who got on this call.
Yeah,
and,
thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
And for all the people that are listening to later, thank you for making the time.
Yeah. If you have any questions for this topic, if you need Sharissa's number, go ahead and text me and I can send you her number.
I just gave it out to everyone on YouTube. I didn't realize this was going on YouTube, but that's okay.
It's okay. It'll be unlisted, so you need to have the URL to watch.
Gotcha.
So it won't be super public.
It's all good. It won't be the first time that happened on accident. Totally fine. Great. Thank you. It's an honor.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharissa, and thank you, everybody. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.